Hello to you, our lovely patrons. Geoff here, and Paul and I have just finished recording our first proper episode of 2021. We got together, the first thing that came up really were after we'd welcomed our newest bunch of patrons, Paul and Frankie and Erika and Lynn, so cheers to you all. After that, we started attacking Andreas's question from the Ask the Landlord feature. So how do you re-energise a team that's somewhat devastated, I think was the phrase, getting that energy back. So we talked a little bit about some of Paul's improv stuff that he's been doing recently. He's just finished an improv training program, I suppose, a set of courses. And I took a slightly different stance, looking beyond games and looking at something else. Apologies for what probably appears to be a blatant plug. Genuinely, it was completely unexpected. The delivery of my latest edition of Team Mastery arrived during recording, but it was nice to get a feel for it, and you'll get the first view of it. So that was there. And Paul was talking us through how he's been making use of a famous marriage counsellor. Not because his marriage is in crisis, but he's been using the magic ratio of John Gottman to try and keep his chin up during lockdown 3. Anyway, thanks again for all your support. It's absolutely fantastic. If you want to get involved in Ask the Landlord, then just drop us a message through the Patreon website or tweet us. Any way you can get in touch, absolutely fine. And cheers to you all. Welcome to the pub, sir. What can I get for you today?
Oh, good evening, bar lord. Can I have a pint of cider, please, sir?
Yeah, what would you like? Which one would you like?
Oh, you got any stuff that tastes of apples? That's all I can drink.
Well, I'll have a pint of truffler, please.
Truffler?
Yeah, that's what I got.
You snuffling?
Snuffling for truffles, mate. I don't know why my cider accent is a Cockney one, but yes, Orchard Pig Truffler, left over from Christmas.
Nice.
It's fairly strong, 60% stuff, but it's quite a dry thing. It's not my favourite, but it's needs to drink it up.
Needs drinking. That's a classic thing, isn't it? The food needs eating.
Yeah, needs eating. And they're going to go in the bin.
Well, I've got something
you?
I've never had before. It's a wild IPA. It's a mixed fermentation IPA, which, if I read this, says no other beer pairs with food quite like wild IPA. It's bold, fermented with 3 yeasts, has a touch of acidity to cut through rich food, and a complementary pink grapefruit note. Finishes dry with a moorish bitterness that's hugely refreshing. So says the marketing bump. Let's pour it
into the microphones. Is that out of a can? It's not a bottle.
It is out of a can, yes.
Look.
So I have just eaten this. This is a landmark day in our household. My son cooked dinner.
What, Grayson?
Not quite.
Okay.
No, Cody, they had a sort of Zoom cooking session with some of his classmates from school.
Okay, good idea.
The teacher was sort of talking them through the instructions of what to do.
Yeah.
And they were all cooking at the same time. And Cody's I think he's only ever cooked one thing in his life. It was an omelette at school. And Alison drew the short straw and had to taste that one. I put myself forward for this one. So this is going to apparently cut through the food and provide a nice complement to it. So yeah, it smells a little bit like one of the ones I've made before, homemade. But this will obviously be much better. It's quite nice and golden. It does smell a little bit fruity. It's lighter than I thought it was going to be. It's more like I'll say it's more like a lager than a. It is an IPA, but it tastes a little bit more lagery, lighter. It's 5.2%, I suppose. Maybe it's a little bit. It's not particularly complicated. I would say that's a. It's not technically a session ale or a session beer, but it's quite easy to drink. If someone wanted to get into an IPA from a lager, I would say that would be quite a nice. What do they call it? A gateway beer. Gateway ale. A gateway ale.
Gateway ale. Yeah.
Cheers to you, sir.
I haven't poured mine.
Oh, you haven't poured it? Okay.
No.
Yeah, for those of you that are looking, I've got sport on in the background by the looks of it in my pub.
Yeah, my pub's a bit more dated than yours. People who have the video link, who are watching the video as opposed to just listening to the audio, may recognise the pub from an 80s TV show. Can you guess the TV show, Geoff? From the this is not great Pubcast material. You're guessing a picture that's behind me, but
Is it Only Fools and Horses?
mm-hmm.
Is it the Nag's Head?
It's the next head, yeah. So down the next head. So yeah, I'm putting this up in tribute to Paul Lister,
Okay.
one of our new patrons, Mr. Lister.
Yeah.
And I've got no basis for the fact that he is a Cockney, but he I'm not sure if he's a genuine Cockney.
If he isn't, he plays one well.
But he's certainly got a little bit of a London accent, hasn't he?
Little bit of a boy, ain't he? Little bit of a lad.
Mm. So
Yeah, cheers, Paul.
Cheers, Lister. Nice one.
You sort of almost morphed into Manchester accent then, a little bit at the end.
Well, Manchester is a little bit more like that.
But
No,
yeah,
that's
cheers.
Liverpool. That's a little bit of Liverpool in there as well.
Oh, your accents aren't doing very well today, are they?
It's well travelled. It's a well travelled accent.
Paul's not the only patron we need to give a shout out to either today, actually.
No, we've got a list, haven't we? We've got a long list.
Yeah, no pun intended. Lister. Yeah, so cheers to Paul and also to Francesco Bianchi.
Yeah, Frankie.
Cheers to you, my friend.
Yeah, nice one, Frankie. I've got a drink now every time we say a name. I'm gonna need another pint in a minute. Cheers, Frankie.
Cheers, my friend. And Erika Braverman,
Erika Braverman.
new patron. So cheers to you, Erika. Thank you
Cheers,
very much for your
Erika. Thank you very much. Another little sip.
support.
Anyone else?
And Lynn.
Oh, Lynn.
Lynn Olsen.
Me and Lynn go way back.
Yeah, I think she's a nice glass of white wine lady. She is.
Oh, okay. Nice to.
Erika's
thank you
more
very
of a
much.
gin and tonic, I think.
You reckon?
Yeah.
It's going to be an expensive round at this rate, isn't it?
Well,
So,
they're worth it. They're great. They're great people, our patrons. Cheers,
Cheers.
Lynn. Cheers, everybody.
cheers, Lynn. Cheers, Erika. Cheers, Frankie. And cheers, Paul. Lovely.
And yeah, let's get another round in. So, what's end of the week? How's your week been?
Busy.
Yeah.
Busy in the sense of mentally busy.
Okay.
I feel a little bit fuzzy in terms of lots of things to think about. Lots of having to write stuff down, Geoff.
Like physically with a pen and paper?
Yeah, like little notes, because lots of things to do. And
Okay.
So,
Any highlight? Anything particular?
What's on the list? Let's have a look. But it's just a lot of different contacts to make. Chasing up with people that have dropped me a line or give me a call and calling them back, and little bits of admin, but nothing particularly groundbreaking. But I enjoyed a good. Had an improv course this week, which is the last in the series of my 5 sessions. That went well. It was a bit of a farewell to my my
emotional.
students. Yeah, a little bit teary. But yeah, it's nice. You do, and it's a different way for me to teach and a different way for people to experience it, I think. We can pause.
It's all right.
I'll
Just
make a note of
had
this.
the delivery.
Oh, okay. Another 5 guys.
No, new books.
Oh,
Off the press. I might have to go and get one actually.
Go on then. We have paused this broadcast while Geoff picks up a parcel he has just received. Please hold.
And I'm back, yeah, hot off the press, look.
You saw it here first, ladies and gentlemen, or you heard Geoff pick up the parcel here first. That's the book.
Okay.
What is it, Geoff? Tell us quickly.
So it's a slimline version of Team Mastery. So it's Team Mastery without the cards at the back. So people have been asking for they bought the original with the cards in the back, the tear out cards, but then they only need one set. they wanted the option to have
Yeah.
a book without the cards in as well. So you can buy the cards separately, and you can also buy just the actual textbook if you like. So this is the first time I've seen or held that version. It's a lot more lightweight, a little bit more portable. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I like the colour. Do you like the colour?
Well, it's sky blue, Geoff, which of course, as you know, as a Coventry fan,
Yeah.
is the finest colour of all.
So that's just delivered. That's nice.
Didn't expect that, did we? Didn't expect that.
No.
What was I
So
saying? Yeah,
Improv.
So, yeah, it's good. You do. It's a different style of way of teaching for me, but you do over 5 weeks, and they're short sessions, but you do build up, I think, more of a relationship. It's probably something a lot to do with the content as well, that people are stepping perhaps a little bit more out their comfort zone with some of the exercises. But I think, after 5 weeks of doing those types of exercises, you do grow a little bit closer, I think, with colleagues. So yeah, it's been good, and people were very thankful, and the feedback was good, and it's always nice to hear. And yeah, I made some new friends.
Good. I have to say this is without doubt being the best year of 2021 for me.
The best year of 2021.
Well, I was joking about this earlier on, how January was a long year, wasn't it? Because time is stretching out so slowly in lockdown. It's sort of an in-joke. But no, the best week of 2021 is what I actually meant to say, and I just slipped into that faux pas.
I didn't catch that.
Thank you, Siri. So yeah, definitely the best week of the year so far. I've had a lot of fun.
You've been a busy boy as well, haven't you?
But
share a little
busy.
bit of it. Share it with the listeners.
Yeah, sure. I mean, apart from the fact that I've caught up with people that I haven't spoken to for a long time, so school friends, work colleagues, partners, collaborators, both professionally and just socially. Just had a coffee at lunchtime over Zoom, that kind of thing. Some new ideas that I've been putting out into the world, and so far have been received quite well. It's just been a really good week. I made a lot of progress. At the end of the day, having ticked off a lot of things, a lot of stuff in the done column at the end of each day.
It feels good, doesn't it? It does
does.
feel good. I've been trying to pass on some of the benefits of personal Kanban type things to Sabrina, who's trying to, she's venturing into her own little Pilates business venture now, and she's getting quite not stressed is the wrong word, but quite laden down with lots of different tasks, and trying to prioritise those, and try to, without as you'll know as well as I do, you never try and coach. You never try and don't try and bring the work home with you, literally into the kitchen with you, because that never goes down well. But try to suggest maybe prioritising things and not having to do it all at once, and doing one thing at a time. Didn't go down very well.
No. You trying to inflict your help on her?
Yes, I was. Yes, it's my own fault. Wrapped on the knuckles for that one. But it's exciting, mate. Yeah, you've I've not seen you this chirpy this week for a while, so you can tell that it's having an effect on you.
So yeah, it's a good week, and we need to go back to our patrons again, because we had a question from one of them that we've been asked to address. And this is actually our first proper episode, if you like, of the year, isn't it?
It's certainly one of the traditional types of episodes. Yeah.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of our patrons, Andreas Wittler, has asked us a question that he would like to.
Is this the Ask the Landlord moment?
Yeah, which is a little bit more virtual than it used to be, but we're okay with that. We're a 21st century pub.
Yeah.
And he wants to know, he's been asked to fire up an overworked, kind of devastated team.
Ooh.
I kind of thought devastated is binary. It's like pregnant. You either are pregnant or you're kind of pregnant. But anyway, kind of devastated team. It's a little bit low on energy. What would you suggest as your best game or exercise to help them to get going again? Which might be quite timely given what you've just been talking about with your improv class. Do you have any particular games that you use to pick up kind of devastated teams?
Kind of devastated teams. Well, I think humour is certainly a good it's a good tool, isn't it? And I know obviously humour can be quite a delicate matter, and it's very much probably an individual thing, but humour can make a very difficult message quite a lot easier to swallow. So I think certainly some of the fun we've been having of on some of these improv courses, just wordplay. One of the funny ones was this week was just simple wordplay. It's a bit of an old one that we've done before, but last letter first. We played that this week. So trying to hone in listening skills, but equally listening for the last letter someone says before you say the next part of it. Another thing we did this week, I'm just freestyling now, but it got quite a few laughs, was counting in numbers or telling a story in numbers. I don't think I've done this one with you before, but I'll explain it. So it's all to do with trying to maximize your body language and your voice control, and to try and tell a story, but also to try and gain interaction with other people. But basically, the audience would give you a suggestion or a location. Two people like me and you would set a scene.
Battersea Bridge.
Where?
Battersea Bridge.
Okay, let's go Battersea Bridge. But we have to talk in numbers. We count from 1 to 50, and then we're going to try and tell some kind of interesting story just by counting to 50 as a conversation. So I'd say I'd start with something like, this isn't going to, well, we'll see how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And I've got to say 6, 7, 8.
Or you, however many numbers you like.
Okay. Do I add anything else to it? So 6 dogs just walked past? Or
No. It's just use numbers. But you've got to talk to me through numbers.
Okay. 6, 7,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
14.
And we'll stop there.
Okay.
But the idea is, so you're trying to help your partner tell a story by being more descriptive with the way you say something as stupid as a number.
Okay.
So yeah, we could easily misinterpret, but it caused so much hilarity because it was so difficult sometimes to over Zoom as well to try and read what other people were saying with numbers. But it was a good way to try and hone people's listening skills. Yeah. But yeah, just trying to step out of the work. I think people enjoyed just stepping out of the work environment just momentarily and doing something a bit different.
All right, I'm going to give a slightly different answer to that. Because although I would agree with all of that, there's another way of looking at it. Not better, not worse, but just different. And that is that I find a good way to get energy, and actually I kind of mentioned this already in terms of myself, is getting something complete. So actually giving the team something that they can actually get their teeth into and get a sense of completion and closure and achievement on. Not patronising something really, really easy or pathetic or meaningless, something actually that means something, but probably away from what they've been doing on a day-to-day basis for a while, because that's probably been contributing towards their sense of mild devastation. So giving them a task, a challenge, an opportunity to do.
Like a practical thing that they could do that's got nothing to do with work, like build some Lego together, or
well, no, I wouldn't go so far as to say nothing to do with work. Yeah, it could be. So, for example, my son doing this cooking challenge with his mates has nothing to do with his schoolwork. Well, it kind of is, isn't it? Because they're doing recipes, they're learning a life skill, they're managing a time, they're managing all these different things. But it's not actually to do with their schoolwork that they would see it as. But it's a challenge. It's something. So yes, you could go down the more gamey activity route, craft or telling a story. But equally, there's no reason why it couldn't be an organisational challenge. Pick something in the organisation that's not quite working properly, but you can do something about, and you've got a couple of days to fix it or do something.
Yeah.
It could be something to do with their work environment. So it doesn't have to be a game, although I know it's nice to play games now and again, and that can be a really good break from normality. But equally, something work-related but achievable and challenging could also energise the team.
It's a little bit. It's got little hints of Google time to it, hasn't it? That kind of pick something you're inspired by. That's that whole kind of mastery thing, isn't it? That it's the reason why I'm trying to learn another song on a piano.
Okay.
In lockdown 3. That gives me energy. I wonder if it's a different thing. I think there's personal energy, isn't there? And then there's team energy. And I think if you've got one, it kind of helps you with the other. So we had a call today, didn't we, with Nigel? But and Nigel can't help himself, but Nigel gives me energy.
Yeah.
And that is quite infectious. But equally, like just going for a walk today, getting out of the house gives me energy as well. So it's a fresh air. And I can tell. Don't know if you're the same now, but I can tell when I haven't been out of the house.
Well, that's a good thing. That's mindfulness, isn't it? That's just becoming a lot more self-aware of when you are not at your optimum. And quite often, when you're in a stressful situation, it's not uncommon to not be aware, and other people around you to be more aware than you are. But if you can be aware, if you can almost create your own triggers, your own alarms, and notice it, then you can nip it in the bud and manage yourself a lot better. Yeah. Sounds like that's what you're doing.
Yeah. And it's a conscious thing now and my son is actually a good, I blogged about this last week, but my son is a good trigger for me because he will now come and ask me, when are we going out for a walk today?
Okay.
Which is a nice thing to do because it's nice to break the day up, but also it's a nice way to remind me. And I noticed it, I missed it, when I was doing 2 days training earlier in the week, and I missed it, and I thought to myself, I haven't done that walk today, and I didn't do it yesterday either. It's been 2 days now since I've been out, so it does play a part. Did we on that note about energy, did we mention, I'm losing track now, this is one of the things I'm struggling with this week, but did we talk about the magic ratio? I might have mentioned it to you on another call, but I don't know if it was recorded.
No, I don't think it was recorded. No, but it's been part of your focus this week and this month. I would say the last few weeks.
Yeah, so I've been trying to focus on positive energy for me and personally to get through January. Getting through January was a psychological milestone for me. That you think it's a horrible way to look at it, but just get this month over and done with. It psychologically, we're into a different month now. But the magic ratio is John Gottman's theory, who I believe was was working with relationships, a divorce counsellor.
Okay.
But he saw a correlation between stable relationships and the stable relationships that were able to move through a conflict by trying to focus on finding at least 5 positive things that will outweigh a negative interaction or some kind of negative conflict that's occurred within the marriage. And he labelled that the magic ratio. But I think it is true, and I think I've been trying to maximise each week, at least pull out 5 things that I've give me positive energy to try and negate any negative stuff.
John Gottman, I'm just going to Google him now because before I embarrass myself, but I think he had a nickname, like a proper, like the love doctor or something, the marriage doctor or something like that. He was quite well known as famous in that world.
That field.
Yeah, the Gottman Institute. So yeah, I think I've done. I studied some of his work a few years ago, and that's why it's stuck in my head.
Yeah,
I can't for the life of me remember what the nickname is, but anyway.
But it also came up. I've heard it from another industry. Again, nothing to do with marriage, but and relationships. But the former Southampton manager Nigel Adkins used to at the end of a debrief a match with the team had to pull out 5 positives from the match before they talked, even if they got beaten, before they talked about something negative. Yeah. So I've heard it come through, like I say, many different guises. The magic ratio. He was
able to predict. I'm guessing now, but I'm pretty sure he was able to predict the likelihood of a couple being divorced within.
Yes. The 90% true accurate.
That's right.
It was.
Yeah, he was very good at predicting divorce.
Yeah.
But I'm going to link this back to Andreas actually, because the idea of appreciations I think is a really strong exercise,
Yes,
and that's not
yes.
necessarily a game, but it's something that it might be a bit of a facetious link that I'm making here, but you know, a team is a little bit like a family. It is a little bit like a marriage. There is a bit of give and take, isn't there? There's complementing one another in terms of what you bring to the table, your skills and so on, but also appreciating one another. And it's very easy to just focus on the negatives, the fact that so-and-so didn't fill the coffee pot up, or so-and-so, whatever. You focus on the negatives. And actually taking some conscious time to focus on the positives is something that I remember us, and I say you, me, Nigel, people at BT, when we were sort of in this agile world, and our influences were mainly from America, and we kind of joked about how the Americans were very much, high-fivey, sort of chest bumpy type positive compared to the British culture, and how that was quite a culture shock. But actually it was a really important part of developing that team away from the sort of management chain. And saying, we need to just start looking out for how we are helping one another and what we are bringing to the table, rather than, oh, you really annoyed me today, which is healthy in itself. So I might, sort of long-winded way of saying, I might, if I was in a situation such as Andreas is suggesting, start looking at the positives, the things that we have all done and can do more of to help each other, and consciously appreciate those things.
Which segues very well into what I do on my training courses now, as an introduction. And I probably have talked about this before. Maybe it was recorded, maybe it wasn't. But getting people to share, particularly during these times, share a photograph from a happier time.
Okay.
So I do believe that nostalgia and memories and stories give us energy.
That's true.
So storytelling gives us energy as well. So it's worked really well on my courses, even for relative strangers who share. I ask them to go back through their hard drive and pull out a photo they're happy to share of a happier time. And the amount of smiles and energy that comes out, and it doesn't have to be anything to do with work either. This could be something just from what makes you happy, family life, or a holiday that you had, a meal that you ate, whatever it was, a restaurant you went to. But it gives you a sense of a repurposing that, so there is lights at the end of the tunnel. There's a different way. I suppose it's a lot to do with the current situation, the COVID situation that we're in. But
I know why you were giggling there with that phrase, light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
There's a kite at the end of the funnel.
Yeah, it's a Tim Vine meme on Twitter. If you are a Tim Vine fan, he's the pun master general. He loves a pun.
But look at that. That was just a classic example of us both having a shared memory of something really, really incidental. But we effectively re-experienced that positivity, and it was almost doubled because of the nostalgia.
But the just purely the environment, being in a pub, that is where you would share those types of jokes. I mean, especially I think it's even more important from a team aspect, is that if you can share a shared memory, that is that bolsters and reinforces that we all experienced that. We were a team when that happened.
Yeah,
I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah, maybe another thing a team could do is tell each other a joke.
Yeah,
an agile joke maybe.
Who knows?
Watch this space.
Watch this space. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So thanks for that, Andreas. Good question.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, it's I
even
think
the question itself made us nostalgic.
Yeah, and I think particularly now we are surrounded by low energy. Every day it's probably more difficult to increase your energy levels at the moment. For me personally, I suppose I can't speak for everyone, especially when we were talking to someone on the other side of the world this week that's not in lockdown, which was thoroughly depressing. But I have to wait for a future episode to hear that interview. But that's coming up. But it's a difficult time for a lot of people at the moment.
Well, that was nice. That was good. So yeah, I mean, if you fancy asking the landlord a question or getting a shout out on a future episode, then log on to patreon.com/the Agile Pubcast. You'll be more than welcome in our bar, the Nag's Head. We
need a bar name, don't we?
Well, we had one, didn't we? The Social Distance Inn.
Social Distance Inn, but we need, again, to focus on the positive. We need an Agile pub name that's not COVID related. I think to give us we can have that as the opening.
So
the end of this.
a lot of English pubs are like the Crown and Anchor, the Coach and Horses. You know, it's something and something. Not always. King's Head and the Queen's Head and the Nag's Head. They're always very common as well. So that, but I'm just thinking X and Y plays quite nicely into the Agile Manifesto, doesn't it?
Yes.
The individuals and interactions.
Yeah, or the responding to change. That doesn't work. I was going to say the processes and tools, but that doesn't work either. It's the wrong end of it, the wrong side of it.
Yeah.
But,
so individuals and interactions. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Especially if you've had a few.
But you got the individuals, as in INN.
Yeah.
See, so you got the in from the individuals.
The interactions
in. Yeah, the interactions or the interact in.
Maybe. Yeah. We'll maybe put it out there and see if anyone can come up with any better suggestions.
What would our tweet us at the Agile Podcast? What would the name of our if Geoff and I were going to give up the all Agile stuff and open a bar, what would it be called? When? Yeah, we should call it Inept and Adapt. I think that's what we'd call it.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Yeah, it's yeah.
Well, that was nice. That felt good. I like the fact that we had the virtual backgrounds and the ambience. But it looks like the barman's about to ring the bell.
Yeah, and we better drink up, haven't we?
Last order.
There it is. All right, boss. Yeah, we're off. Cheers, everybody.
Sorry, Geoff. Cheers.